as I say every single Monday morning, it is a vibe. What is up, nerds? It's me, your buddy pal, Hey Archer. Welcome back to Nerdy Coffee here on Nerd Affiliated. So happy to have all of you here today. Is that something I also say every week? I was just thinking about that. So I always say I'm so happy to have all of you here with me today. I'm not sure. Maybe you can tell me. Welcome to your weekly Monday morning support group, your Monday morning team meeting, melding of the minds amongst your nerd friends, where we sit back, relax, enjoy a nice hut. See, you haven't had any yet. Enjoy a nice hot cup of brew, and we talk about the news. But first, that very first sip. Once it hits your lips. Feels so good. As always, though, and I definitely say this every week, if you have a YouTube channel, podcasts, blog, OnlyFans, newsletter, smoke signals, whatever it may be, put it in the chat. Support one another. Plug yo shits. I wasn't sure I was going to go live today, to be completely honest. Countdown, 3 days until the ring's on this finger. But you know what? We found a way. We made it through the power of friendship. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you. I just saw Ariel Helwani post something. Oh, nothing. Okay. I was like sitting here, like looking at the camera, looking at the monitor, and then I see an Ariel Helwani tweet with like an alarm. I was like, wait, what? But it's just about his in-studio guest on the MMA Hour today. So, alas, here we are. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you. Yukon Phil was first. He was indeed first. So good to see you. Appreciate you as always. Dave's Dimension in the house. Good to see you. Sal in the house. Sal of the Night's Watch. Maybe you should be Sal of like the Nerds Watch. Should that be a thing? Third. Do they do thirds? Sure. Why not? T3 in the house. Good to see you. I'm doing well. How are you doing? The man collects in the house. Good to see you. Love that. Everybody's in the chat throwing up some links, saying hi to each other. T3 says tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific, Undisputed. Definitely check out the link in the description there. Undisputed, it's a fun show. Episode 2, I believe. And let me see if I can click on it and show it on screen. It will let me do that. Awesome. So let's do a quick screen switch. So you have Undisputed. Hey, I'm gonna be first. It's a fun conversation amongst toy collectors where, you know, they talk about the same things that we, like to talk about here. The different toy lines. What are you collecting? What are companies doing wrong? What are they doing right? Great show. Really, really cool dudes running that show. So definitely check that out tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. I will definitely try to be there live. Sal says he's first. Oh, were you first? Fix that. Were you here earlier? I didn't see it in the chat. I didn't see it. Undisputed. Fun. Sure. You mean for sure? For sure? Better movie. Undisputed. Is Undisputed Wesley Snipes or is Undisputed Michael J. White? Is it neither? Am I forgetting? Rolando in the house. Good to see you. I tell you, things get wild. T3 says might be some nudity tomorrow night. You never know. So you definitely got to stay tuned. Watch it alive. And Sal's correcting me with Michael J. White. There you go. There you go. All right. Well, we have a lot to cover today. LeBron, don't worry. I was late too. I'm always late. It's fine. But appreciate you being here, and Patrick as well. We have a lot to cover today, so we won't waste any more time. I feel obligated to say that. I don't think any part of the show is a waste of time. But I felt like that's like the news person thing to say, like without wasting any more time or without further ado, you know? Those kind of like buzzwords. But I don't feel like I'm wasting time ever talking to you guys in the chat. So it's not you. It's me. And it's me over at Nerd Affiliated on YouTube and on Instagram and on the .com. So head over to Instagram.com/nerdaffiliated. Give us a follow. Chat it up with myself, with Anthony, with Sal. We make sure to keep you guys abreast, if that's the right phrase, with all sorts of nerd news and releases, updates, etc., etc., including this fun one. I don't know if any of you knew about this, but Hasbro's been doing a clearance sale on their website. And it's not the normal warehouse sale, but it's like similar prices. Not a lot of items. We'll probably show it a little bit later. But I forget who commented, if it was here or maybe in a DM, where the clearance sale prices weren't as good as like a Target clearance. I mean, or Ross. You guys are all hunting Ross now. You're hunting at Ollie's. So nothing to that extent. But I feel like the clearance prices at Hasbro.com are what the figures probably should normally cost at retail. $17, $15. So check it out. Maybe you'll find some figures to like fill in the gaps in your collection and all of that. Another fun one over at the website. We made it. End censored word. We made it. I'm trying to think how the beat to that song goes. No, I should have had that loaded, but copyright, of course. We made it onto the board at Hook and Ladder. I'm going to hit the button for this one. We made it onto the board at Hook and Ladder number 8. This bottom picture here, you have the Nerd Buster patch on the wall. It's funny, when we were designing this patch, we went with the overall width of like what a standard patch is, like a Ghostbusters patch, and made that the width like wing to wing. But I'm kind of wondering if we should have just done like the circle standard size and have the wings go over. I don't know. Maybe there'll be a V2 patch at some point. But if you want to pick up your own patch, nerdaffiliated.com. We have some available in the store. Grab yourself a patch, t-shirt, maybe even a nice mug. Go over, check that out. And yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of the other things here as we go through the show. So let's start off with probably, sorry about that, with one of the most, how do I even phrase it? I feel like this was everywhere, but nowhere at the same time. Variety made or released an article last week, and I feel like it came and went, but when it arrived, it definitely rocked the nerd space. So before we go into that, let me make sure just to hit up the chat real quick. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Like I said, LeBron was in the house. Craft Collects in the house. We talking toys. I'm switching accounts. There you go. Love that. Dave says, undisputed 2002 Wesley Snipes and Vin Rames. That's right. Maybe Michael Jai White was in the sequel. I feel like he's involved in the Undisputed movie or the series or something. T3 says, that's why we better clearance stuff before retail does sale. That's why we better clearance stuff before retail does sale. Not sure I understand. Dave says, I don't hunt Ross. Only one in my area. They got nothing. The Hasbro sale is a joke. It is. He said, congrats on making the board. We have Velez, by the way, in the house. Good to see you. Welcome. I think it's your first time on stream. And T3 says, Hasbro clearance. We should clearance some of the new figures before retail does sales. There you go. You know, why don't we check it out real quick? We'll go back to Hasbro afterwards to go over the crowdfund. But yeah, so these figures literally just dropped. This is the Disney Plus Wave, the newest one, and they're already doing 1991. I don't even know why they chose that number. So current retail, let's go to Target, see if Target has any sales this week. Marvel Legends. Wow, I'm shocked. Target's still doing their 25% off. Ooh, and the 25% off applies to the new Spider-Man as well. Yeah, look at this. Black Widow, $24.99. Moon Knight figure. Moon Knight, I think, is the hottest figure in the current card back wave. Yeah, $21 still for this Guardians figure. Agatha 23, Kingpin 24. Yeah, so they're undercutting Target already. But not by much. Not by much. So it's a really weird sale. And the items that they chose, like these make more sense, $15. But like, why are there the newer things on sale on your own website already? Like you just sold them to Target and everybody else. So I don't know. One of the last waves there. Random Star Wars figures here. I think there's only 3 of them. Yep. And just a lot of Marvel Legends. But I was surprised by this one here. This what was this team called again? I'm drawing a blank on this one. They just called it the villains figures. But no, they were like a team or something. Anyway, something like this I could see buying on clearance because this would not show up in a store. So, yeah, save yourself $25 on that one. But a lot of the other stuff here is just, you know, it's whatever. Nothing crazy. All right. So going back to this Variety article, this, like I said, when this article hit, it made a lot of noise and then it vanished. Similar to our story with our good friend Falcon. So this one's going to be a tough one to kind of discuss because, again, we're trying to honor the strike, which hopefully, I think I said it last week, we should be approaching the end. I still think we're getting to that point. Maybe this is the week. Maybe this is the week. But I was talking to the boys about it, and we're going to have to do like the longest podcast ever to just recap the last, I don't know, 8 months. If you factor in the writer strike into the actor strike, we got a lot of stuff to cover. So I'm going to try to tread lightly here. T3 says that Variety article is a hit piece for clickbait. I'm glad you said that. So in the title of today's episode, I mentioned hit pieces. And this one, you know, I commend them on this. I commend Variety. They threw a Hail Mary on this. There's a lot of stuff in this article. I encourage you to read it. I'm actually going to post it. I don't know if you guys can ever click. Oh, you could. All right. So I posted it in the comments. Feel free to give it a click, read through it. There's a lot of quote unquote insider stuff. Like, oh, we had an insider at this event and they heard this, or they are, somebody we know at the studio heard this type of conversation happening, or talked to somebody in the writer's room for this other thing. There's a lot of that happening. And to the clickbait part of T3's comment, I opened up this article on my phone and it had like 30 ads just bomb my phone, just all over the place. And I was like, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. I feel like similar to physical paper media, a lot of these news websites, they're suffering hard. And by making these types of articles and, social media posts with these kinds of pictures, they know you're going to click on it. So they up the ads on it. They're like, we're going to advertise everything we possibly can just to get more money, more AdSense for an article that has a lot of just alleged stuff. That being said, as you go through the article, there are a lot of things there that do kind of make sense. So that's where, as you're reading through, oh, this movie got swapped with that movie, or this was an original script idea that got taken away. It's all very believable. It is all very believable. So definitely take a look at it. I would encourage you just to, skim through it, read it. Good luck battling the ads on it. But it's a good read. One of the things I will talk about that I said I'm trying to tread lightly here. By the way, shout out to JB in the house, jumping in to say good morning and coffee. I'll catch up on Team Replay after have a great week, peeps. Love that. LeBron says the mouse up there looking for a Five Nights at Freddy animatronic. Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things they talk about here is the VFX department and how they just straight up, it was like damn near abuse. Like they were being asked to pump out so much content. Deadlines were moving all over the field. Release dates were moving all over the place. So they even reference a couple movies where a lot of us noticed, hey, that VFX looks kind of like shady, unfinished, rushed. And they talk about how, like with some projects, you're told the movie's coming out next year. All of a sudden they're like, oh, no, because this movie is a little bit more done than this other movie. We're going to switch the order, finish it now. And they're like, I don't even have time. This one I will talk about because it's not out, so I don't think it breaks any kind of rules. The part about Blade, all completely false. So that was another bullet point I had. T3 and I were on the same page. They allegedly, some source over at Disney revealed that Blade, originally the way the script would be a female-led movie, and Marshala, whatever his last name is, would still play Blade, but it'd be more about the other character. That's one of those perfect examples of, I feel like that would be the dumbest move ever, but based on what Marvel has been doing with their movies, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I feel like that's completely possible. They could do that. I've said since day one that Blade movie is not going to happen. It is not going to happen. And as you read this article, if any of that stuff is true that's in the Blade section, I think it confirms my thoughts. Yes, I heard that same thing, T3. Patrick said, I keep seeing those random media journalists posting two paragraph clips of what whole articles just for clips. Sorry. I keep seeing those random media journals reposting 2 paragraph clips of whole articles just for clicks. Yeah. Make sure I didn't miss anything. LeBron says, wait, Disney making something not about the title character? That never happens. Exactly. So yeah, definitely check it out. Check out the article. I enjoyed reading it. You know, it's fun to have conspiracy theories about stuff, and you know, we all like to see a train wreck, and thinking that Marvel is a train wreck because we're currently like not enjoying it. It's fun to like read an article that like backs your theories or backs what you feel and all that kind of stuff. So definitely check it out. And again, whoever drew the art for this article and the various pictures, they knew what they were doing. All right, moving on. It's going to be a very Disney heavy episode here. So right now on the screen, we have Disney stock currently at $85.07 before the open. Stock market opens over at 9:30 Eastern, so that's in 5 minutes. And one of the bigger things that they did last week was they bought out the rest of Hulu. So if you didn't know, Disney, you know, we kind of have to go backwards here. Disney purchased Fox back in 2019. And that's when we all had those fun jokes of like, oh, now the alien queen is going to be like a Disney princess. And like all those jokes is because Disney bought out Fox Studios. We also had the full-on faith that now we're going to get X-Men in the Marvel universe because that's under Fox. So Disney bought out Fox Studios. But what they did not own was all of Hulu. Hulu was tied to Fox. But Comcast, the cable company, the parent company, they owned 33% of Hulu. So it wasn't all under Fox. There was like a shared ownership there. So this whole time since the purchase, Disney was playing ball with Hulu in this co-parenting operation of Hulu. So last week, Disney finalized almost, which you'll see, the sale or the purchase of Hulu. So we're going to head over to our good friends at Yahoo Finance and take a listen. Make sure you guys can hear it. See what they have to say.
Officially agreed to buy Comcast's remaining 33% stake in Hulu for at least $8.61 billion. The two sides now enter negotiations for the streaming platform's valuation. Yahoo Finance's Alexandra Canal has those details. Oh, Ali, this is an interesting one here.
Yeah.
Sorry, just making sure you guys can hear it. Just let me know in the chat. I'm pretty sure I saw the sound bar moving, but I just want to make sure the volume was good. Sal says, what the hell happened to the X-Men? Do they have a date? I feel like that isn't happening either. I think X-Men will happen. Right now, X-Men 97, the follow-up to the animated series, that's coming out. I think they're being careful with the X-Men. They're as much as we like to think they're sloppy with everything, I think they're really making sure the groundwork is laid out before they dive into the X-Men. The date keeps getting pushed back on 97. But I'm going to assume you guys can hear it because nobody has answered that question. That's fine. We'll continue.
Yes, and we finally have the answer on what's going to happen with Hulu. And as expected, Disney will soon control 100% of that service. Now, under the terms of the agreement, Disney is going to pay Comcast, NBC Universal a minimum $8.61 billion by December 1st. Now, this represents the floor of what Comcast is owed for Hulu. The two sides will enter into those negotiations. And if it's determined that the value of Hulu is greater than what the floor suggests, Disney will pay the percentage advantage of that difference. Now, Hulu, it's a very great streaming service. If you take a look at some of the titles that have come out of that, like Only Murders in the Building, The Handmaid's Tale, it boasts around 48 million subscribers. Disney CEO Bob Iger has said general entertainment content, like the content that Hulu provides, is really core to the company's content strategy moving forward. And that's despite initially telling investors earlier this year that all options were on the table for Hulu. Clearly, he's changed his.
So this is the interesting part to me when it comes to this whole buyout of Hulu. It's what you see on screen right now. 48 million people subscribe to Hulu as of July, according to their source. How many people subscribe to Disney Plus? 14.6. Oh, sorry. 146.7 million as of Q3 fiscal 2023. It's a drop from Q4 2022. So I'm wondering, in years past, Disney has wanted to just rule everything, like run the world. And that seems to have changed over the last year. But a move like this makes me think, oh, they're trying to go back to their old ways. Of the 49, it said 48, 50 million that have Hulu. Like, how many of them do you think don't already have Disney Plus? So that's where I'm like, I don't think you're really gaining much outside of like, you're going to eliminate a streaming service. Like, they're probably going to fuse it together, or maybe they're going to end up doing what the original plan was, where Hulu has the more mature type shows and whatnot, and then Disney can go full on like kid. Maybe, but I feel like I still don't understand why you need to own two services to show similar content. But let's see what they continue to say.
Stance on that. And now we have at least one outstanding issue close to being solved for this company and just ahead of earnings next week.
And so, Ali, another outstanding issue for Disney is ESPN and finding strategic partners to help with its streaming ambitions. What's the latest commentary from Wall Street? Because we know sports is always that big barrier here that a lot of these streamers are trying to contend with.
Now, so we have a new note from Bank of America that said ESPN could be valued at $24 billion and seek a variety of potential buyers there. We do know that Disney has engaged in strategic partnership talks with professional sports leagues like the NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL. But Bank of America said that there are other possible partners out there, like big tech with Amazon and Apple, or even telecom giants like Verizon and Comcast, which would help on the distribution side. Now, Bank of America did assume that Disney would want to maintain a 51% majority stake. Hearst already has a 20% stake in ESPN. So that leaves a 36% interest in this sports network when it comes to who a potential buyer could be. The capital, of course, would greatly help Disney at a time when its streaming efforts have been struggling. They could potentially pare down some of those losses. However, who the buyer of ESPN would ultimately be is a little hazy, considering we're in this transitional period for media. We've seen traditional TV declining. We've seen cable really not doing so hot, with cord cutting escalating. We've recently saw ESPN financials for the first time, and that showed a decline over time in profit. So TBD on who would ultimately want this. We will see even more of those financials next week and ultimately hear from CEO Bob Iger. So we'll just have to wait and see when it comes to that, because you're right, Rochelle. Sports is the next big thing in media. Disney needs the money. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, but there's also overhanging issues as well.
It's weird that it's an interesting time right now. Like, the internet has created this problem where you would think owning everything is the way to go, but then at the same time, you're only getting what, if you add up all those apps they mentioned, you're getting what, $30 out of a household to run all those different apps, 3 different services, all those respective shows. it's a lot. It's a lot. So I think I still don't understand the move here. Like, you know, you guys mentioned in the comments the HBO Discovery thing. Like with that one, I understood it because Discovery as an app was doing okay because people started really leaning into the reality stuff, but the HBO app on its own was starting to struggle. So they're like, all right, bring it together so that you go to one place to get all these, you know, all these shows, reality and the pre-recorded movies and TV shows and all that stuff. But on this one, I feel like it's the same person that has Disney and has Hulu. And Disney's declining in the app, so maybe they're trying to get ahead of that. But I think you're still able to double dip by having it separately. So I don't understand the buy, unless you're like, oh, I'm tired of paying Comcast a third. But if you make it so that Comcast has to front some cost to make shows, I don't see the issue. So I'm curious. I want to see, you know, this week when there's the earnings call on Wednesday, I do want to see what they have to say about all of that. If it, you know, maybe there's something we're not thinking about when it comes to that purchase. And then, of course, ESPN. You know, most of you here are all streamers, content creators, consumers of streamers and content creation. I never really see any of these networks talk about streaming as far as like a talking head style of talking head style content. Like I don't really hear that come up a lot. Like I was thinking about Kai Cenat the other day. If you don't know him, the probably top 3, top 5 streamer in the world. He did a week stream in a jail that he bought out for like a week-long skit, essentially. And was doing crazy numbers over on Twitch. Like, I'm wondering when some of these big companies, your Netflix, your Hulu, your Disney, like, well, I guess Disney and Hulu are the same, Discovery, Max. I wonder when any of them are going to say, maybe we should cut a deal with a streamer so that they could live stream on our app. So like, you know how your kid probably would sit there on their iPad and watch, you know, whatever cartoon on Netflix. They're usually like, oh, it's 8:00. Turn off Netflix, load up Twitch, watch their favorite streamer on Twitch. Like at what point does like a Netflix say, how do we get some of those streamers so that those kids stay on our app? Or is that too expensive to now have your app transform into like a community thing where like there's a chat and you can't control that streamer, right? They just do whatever. I don't know. I feel like there's an opportunity there. Hello there, says General Kenobi. I didn't wake up late. I didn't think you did. But it's good to see you. Sal says at least Disney will get more anime with Hulu. No more app switching. Yep. T3 says they want to move it to Disney Plus to paid subscribers. Or pad subscribers, sorry. I thought maybe you meant to say paid, but you wrote pad. But I understand what you mean now when you say pad subscribers. Pad the numbers up. Sal says Twitch was talking about cutting that shit out. I read an article that Twitch can't handle the 7-figure streamers anymore. It might not happen at Disney. You wrote happy, but I'm thinking it meant happen. LeBron says Kenobi was up too late clubbing. He probably was. K-Walk, good to see you. K-Walk says, I don't know if that benefits streamers or is it taking advantage of them? True. But before that, K-Walk said, Netflix would own the rights to your streams, ? Potentially. So going back to Sal's comment there, Twitch was talking about cutting that shit out. I read an article that Twitch can't handle the 7-figure streamers anymore. might not happen, or happy, I'm not sure what you meant, but happen at Disney. So I think we grazed over that the other day, talking about Spotify and Apple paying for like crazy. Sorry. I was like holding back a burp the whole time. I think we talked about that the other day with Apple and Spotify, like not wanting to pay those crazy numbers anymore for the podcast, like Joe Budden podcast, Joe Rogan podcast, like those kinds of things. I think it might be different with the live streaming than it would be like a Spotify. Maybe. I think the biggest benefit would be if Netflix or Disney says, you could still access these live streams on the free tier, so we're running ads on it. Like maybe you get that. You try to go almost like the YouTube route. But yeah, paying these people like an absurd amount of money up front, I feel like that might be done. I can see that. Because think about it this way, right? Like they could pay a Speed, right? Like iShow Speed. They could pay him, $5 million a year to stream exclusively on Netflix. Or you take that $5 million and you buy up a bunch of like lower tier streamers, and then you bring them on. Like maybe you get more bang for your buck. You get a couple streamers in the game space, in the nerd space, in the reality TV space. Like maybe you do that, It's interesting. It is a real interesting time, because ultimately, as a content creator, you are subject to the algorithm, right? So like our show can only go so far if YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Instagram, if they don't push your content to the right people at the right time. But like if Netflix came to me and was like, "Hey, we'll give you $100,000 and we'll put you on the front, content creator thing for a week, and you could do your show on our platform for a year, and then we'll see what we do after that." I mean, I'd say yes, because you're default going to get more people watching because you're on the front of Netflix, So it's interesting. It's an interesting time. I'm really excited to see where all of this goes, because like even in the year 2023, it seems like the power has like made a small shift towards the worker versus the boss. Not anywhere where it should be, but I feel like it's made that move a little bit, and I feel like content creators are the next wave of that. The next wave of, we have the power, not the company. But it's a matter of, will people sell out? Will people take deals that are shitty just because they're like, oh, it's a deal, similar to like the rap deals back in the day? So I don't know. I find this I find it all really interesting. Sorry if I've bored you guys for the last 20 minutes talking about this, but I don't know. I find it interesting. I love it. Sal says, I've been watching this guy, Maximilian Dodd. He got famous off of the FGC fighting game community. His net worth is $8 million just for gaming a few hours every day. Yeah. Now there's a lot of money there. There's a lot of money there. And that money, what people don't realize, that money comes from the ad revenue that plays during your stream. So if somebody can run ads on your show, that's where they will potentially bite. Cool. All right. Last thing before we go into our crowdfund updates of the week. Let's see here. Again, trying to tread lightly on what I can and can't talk about. Interesting. Sorry, I just saw something and I was like, interesting. There was a rumor out there, and I want to make sure that we dispel this rumor. I'm going to have to, there's no way to like not break the rules here, so I apologize. So Superman and Lois is coming to an end. And the rumor out there was this is the end of the superhero show, the Arrowverse show on CW. And that is half true. But in this article by The Hollywood Reporter, they make sure to note that it is the end of those Arrowverse style looking shows with the characters from the Arrowverse as it used to exist. But that's because the James Gunn stuff is going to start coming. So the superhero show will continue on CW. It just will now be under the new banner, what we've all wanted for a long time, all the James Gunn style shows. So for the sake of the strike, I won't talk about Superman and Lois as a whole, but it was kind of tied to the rumor. So I just wanted to make sure to note that. So have no fear if you do enjoy those shows. They will continue. Kraft says, my bad, I've been in and out of work over here. Sal says, don't let work get in the way. LeBron said it's interesting. Yeah, cool. No, it is. All that streaming stuff is just, I don't know. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's funny, Sal's comment there about don't let work get in the way. It reminds me of that Future meme. I don't know if any of you guys follow like hip hop meme pages, but there's one, I can't think of the name of it, but they do a whole bunch of like Future quotes or like quotes Future would say, the rapper Future. And one of them was like, don't let your wife get in the way of you finding true love. And seeing your comment, it made me think of that meme. Oh, man. All right, so let's wrap up the last 15 minutes talking about our favorite topic, which is crowdfunds. And I feel like the mothership has not moved. This is a rough one. Disclaimer that I say every time I shit on this company. I love Super 7. I love the figures. I love the story. I love that they're a small company. They're small relative to the field. I love the concepts. I just hate the prices sometimes, and I hate the wait time. But the mothership, I feel like it wasn't the right move. I feel like it wasn't the right move. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before when it comes to crowdfunding. But I feel like it wasn't the right move. Right on the heels of Cat's Lair. Now, what I found interesting earlier, I loaded up the Super 7 page. And right here you have the Godzilla Day, ad. So I was like, oh, all right, cool. And normally this will scroll and it'll show you like the top things that they are promoting at the moment. So right now, the next thing, they're closed. Next thing, Jimi Hendrix reaction figure. And then the last thing being promoted is the mothership. Another thing, at the top here, nowhere does it say the mothership. Like, there was a whole like Cat's Lair tab at the top when Cat's Lair was running. So that's not there either. If I hit the drop down, not there either. So it's just there. It is. Oh, and down here we scroll down, but it's not front and center like Cat's Lair here. Cobra Mothership. So interesting. I'm wondering if they're starting to realize it's not gonna make it. I'm wondering. Again, it's impressive. I saw it in person at Comic-Con. check out the Comic-Con video. I didn't show it in the abridged version, but if you subscribe to our membership, $1 a month over at nerdaffiliated.com, the full version of our Comic-Con video is there, and you'll see the mothership in that version, that video. It's cool, but it's $500, man. And then the same, what I've said before, I'll say it again, the same client that bought Cat's Lair is probably the same client that would buy the mothership. And you're asking them to pay you almost $600 2 months in a row for massive things that might not be able to fit. So I don't know. I don't know about this one. T3 says they're expanding into Walmart. Yeah, I've seen a lot of you guys finding a lot of Super 7 stuff in Walmart. I don't. They were already in Target as far as the reaction figures go, but I feel like Walmart is not the move. Walmart's the bigger company. I get that, but part of Super 7 is packaging. Like, you buy the experience of a Super 7 figure, and all these videos you guys are posting of finding the Super 7 Ultimates in Walmart, they're throwing out the shipper boxes. Like that, when you pay your money for a Super 7 figure, you need the shipper box, you need the sleeve, and you need the package, the figure actually in the plastic window package. In Walmart, they're throwing out the shipper box, they're throwing out the sleeve, and just giving you the package. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. So the Super 7's a very niche line. Like you're really going after a certain niche person. And if they're not getting the whole experience, they're not getting the whole package when they swipe the card, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. So I hope it pays out in the long run. But they have been doing the partnership with Hasbro as well. So, maybe that ends up helping them. Maybe all these different avenues all add up to helping Super 7 as a whole. Because I definitely don't want anything to happen to Super 7. Like I said, love the figures. Cannot wait to get my... I always forget how many things I have on pre-order. I can't wait to get all my Super 7 stuff that I pre-ordered like a year ago. But some of the moves and some of the prices, I'm just like, you're making it hard. Making it hard. Well, lastly, let's go to the Haslab that we are excited for, the crowdfunding that we are excited for, the Ghostbusters 2-in-a-box Ghost Trap and PKE meter. Over the weekend, we passed 12,000 backers, 35 days to go. That's actually in line with the Cobra Mothership. Ooh, I just noticed that. 35 days. 35. Wow. I'm wondering how much that's affecting it. Because if you wanted both the Mothership and the Ghost Trap, they both close on the same day. Are you trying to get, what was that, 300? Their shipping is cheaper on Hasbro. So let's say $350. Shipping on here, I think they said it was more, right? Wasn't it like 100 something? Trying to find. I don't see it. Oh, all these figures are separate too. I didn't know that. Did not know that. All right, let's go to the cart. Some orders containing New York City Comic-Con items may be delayed. Interesting. I was hoping it would show me the shipping. I don't want to go to the next screen and then it shows my information there. But you could get a hit for almost $900 after taxes and shipping in one day. If you were like, I'm backing the mothership and I'm backing the ghost trap. So I'm wondering how much they're hurting each other there. And again, you just dumped your cash for Cat's Lair. T3 says they needed to wait to do this crowdfunded mothership. The Cat's Lair just finished. Yeah. So we got to 12,000, and the 12,000 tier gave us the supernatural startup unlock, which were the Raise Occult cards, a couple stickers here, the blueprints to both the meter and the trap, and this movie accurate patch. So next up, we're trying to get to 15,000, which is the secure receptacle ghost trap unlock. This is the carrying sleeve for the ghost trap and a Haslab exclusive patch, which is not in the movie accurate style. It's more the standard style. Just notice that. So that's the next one, 15,000, and then the final is 18,000. That's where you get the PKE sleeve. That's this psychokinetic energy detection unlock. You get the holster, I guess is the better way to say it, for the PKE, and you get the State Puff style no ghost patch. So still got a ways to go. You know, in the final day of a Haslab, there's always a huge jump. Always a huge jump. So still feeling good this far out. It has definitely slowed down, so I'm not going to deny that. The backing has definitely slowed down. But I wonder also, ending a crowdfund like the week before Christmas, I wonder if that affects people's decisions too. Just curious. But shout out to Ghostbusters News. He posted the other day that Hasbro is doing a Q&A with certain content creators and outlets about the trap. So he had a question on Instagram, or the question box, where it's like, put in a question you want me to ask them. So the question I asked was, will it come with a separate hose so that you can hold the trap up by the hose without damaging any of the internal wires? That would be my request. Why weren't we asked to be there, though? Just saying. And also on Reddit, I was on the Ghostbusters Reddit page, and the girl who works on the Ghostbusters team that was in the reveal video, she was in the Reddit. Like, hey guys, thanks for backing it. Thanks for being so excited for this. Looking for feedback on it, that kind of thing. So I like this concept of Hasbro starting to talk to the community more and having their marketing people in the communities. I'm liking that move. I'm liking that idea. As we saw with the Marvel team going into the Giant Man final days. So I like that move. I like that Hasbro move for sure. Cool. I think that's a wrap. I'll try to find the time. There's been a lot of videos I've wanted to make where I just don't have time. But I do want to work on the Hasbro earnings call video. It would definitely be a post-wedding video. There's nothing, no more videos are being worked on by me before the wedding day this week. So it would be a post-wedding video. So I still want to work on that, just to talk the earnings numbers, nerd out over that stuff, because I enjoy it. And to see the audience thoughts on it. Like, if you guys watch that video, if you end up liking it, if you comment on it, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I'm wondering though, as a channel, over the last 6-8 months, we've definitely leaned into the toy stuff. I've talked about it before. We've leaned into the toy stuff because of the strike happening. And I'm wondering if when the strike is over, and hopefully there's no other strike, I'm wondering if we continue on the trend of mostly talking toy stuff, or if you guys are going to want us to shift back into primarily talking TV reviews, movie reviews, that kind of stuff. So, or I can still do both. But it'll be, of course, less content because I can't go into as much detail on 2 different YouTube spaces. So, yeah. LeBron said, dude, loyal subjects just messaged me and said they liked my TMNT review. You're getting the button. LeBron's doing the Lord's work with that. Make sure somebody throw in LeBron's YouTube channel. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Let's see here. Here we go. So over at LeBron Fett 23, he has been doing the IDW TMNT. I don't know why I'm struggling on that one today. The IDW TMNT videos, the reviews over on his channel. If not for LeBron's videos, I wouldn't even know this line existed, being honest. So I'm glad that they're enjoying your reviews there. Also, shout out to LeBron's reviews in general, because 2 minutes. LeBron covers the figure, posability, accessories, and gives you pictures in an average time of 2 minutes. Shout out to LeBron. Make sure you subscribe over there. Right, let's get him closer to that 500 for sure. And he said Shredder's coming out next week. Yeah. Awesome. Cannot wait. Kenobi saying, that's awesome. Congrats. There you go. Love it. Yeah, it's true. Like you did that first review and I was like, wait, what line is that? I was like, I don't remember that one. So, and you're the only one I know that's doing reviews on that entire wave. So everybody make sure you check out LeBron's videos for sure. And last thing. Sorry. I didn't talk about the rumor of the Power Rangers line going on ice. I know that a bunch of Facebook groups and Twitter pages posted that. It still has not been confirmed by Hasbro. So that's why I haven't really talked about it. Especially because after the earnings call, that's why I still owe that video, because there was a lot in that earnings call. Power Rangers was mentioned a lot in a positive way in the earnings call, with the exception of, I think there's one part where they're talking about like there's some lines where they need to do more work in. I think they mentioned Power Rangers there, but when they're talking about like trying new things and continuing to develop lines and franchises, like Power Rangers came up quite a bit. They mentioned G.I. Joe 0 times. And I think in our circle of friends, we love G.I. Joe. I don't know if G.I. Joe is like that widespread amongst toy collecting community or the toy collecting community. So I don't know. I don't know if Power Rangers is truly on ice based on that call. So that's the only reason why I haven't talked about it yet. I'm kind of waiting for them to say something. But yeah. Oh, the other one, Mr. Steve, I think is the Instagram. He works over at Hasbro. He does a lot of the retro line or the 3 3/4 figures. I feel like he's a not marketing. I think he's like engineering or something. Anyway, Steve was running, or one of the ones in charge of the Marvel 3 3/4, the Star Wars 3 3/4. And he did a poll, or a couple polls the other day, asking what lines do people collect, what are they interested in, price points, etc. And G.I. Joe was like lowest of all the votes. So it's interesting. And that's a whole nother video. LeBron says, it seems like they planned to make it on ice, but did too good, except Cobra Kai. Yeah. There's still a lot of Power Ranger potential. You know, Legacy of Nerd, Daniel talks about that all the time. There's still a lot of Power Ranger potential. They just need to make sure that they continue to lean on Mighty Morphin, because that's what sells. T3 says, I believe Hasbro PulseCon that it was going on ice for a bit. Do you believe they said it at PulseCon? All right. I'll look that up. Send me some videos if you find it. And then I can talk about it next week or the week after or something like that. So, cool. That is an episode. Again, thank you all for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. In some countries, you can't get G.I. Joe in store. It has to be online. All right. Oh, I wonder if it's because of the violence. Because of guns. That's the thing. Normally, I would say, hey, Ultra Live every Thursday, 8:15-ish p.m. here on Nerd Affiliated. But I'm getting married this Thursday. So will we be live? Who knows? But normally, it's every Thursday. Every Monday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern here on Nerd Affiliated, we have Nerdy Coffee. 2 different shows, 2 different vibes. Either way, you're stuck with this guy. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your Monday. Push on, persevere, and keep collecting. Stream the wedding. Maybe if I do go live, I will say this now. If I do go live for the wedding, it's going to be a member exclusive. So nerdaffiliated.com, $1 tier. I promised that there would be live streams over there exclusive to members. Maybe the wedding's the first one. Not promising. I'm not trying to sell you wolf tickets, but maybe. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace. I've run out of hands.